Good afternoon. This is the Chorus Call conference operator. Welcome, and thank you for joining the Tinexta Group Consolidated Results as of the 31st of December 2021 conference call. As a reminder, all participants are in listen-only mode. After the presentation, there'll be an opportunity to ask questions. Should anyone need assistance during the conference call, they may signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on their telephone. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Mr. Joseph Mastragostino, Chief Investor Relations Officer. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, operator. Good afternoon and good morning to the folks in the U.S. Thank you for joining Tinexta's FY 2021 results presentation. Here with me today, Oddone Pozzi, Group Chief Financial Officer of Tinexta Group. As a reminder, all the relevant documentation of FY 2021 results can be downloaded from our company website in the Investor Relations section. For the purpose of this call, I will go over the FY 2021 highlights and updates, as well as provide all the relevant information relating to the recently announced news. Oddone instead will go over the FY 2021 financial results, as well as provide us with a business unit update. The last part of the call will be dedicated to Q&A. A recording of this conference call will be available on our company website, and it will be posted upon completion of this call. At this point, I will kick it off by turning to page 3 of the presentation. FY 2021 was another year of growth, registering strong progress. Please note that in order to allow as complete an analysis as possible, FY 21 results are compared both at constant 2020 perimeter as well as on a 2021 perimeter, which includes all of Tinexta's companies with the addition of the newly acquired ones. Revenues came in at 375.4 million, posting a plus 39.5% growth versus prior year, or 7.7% growth on a 2020 base. EBITDA adjusted, which excludes stock options and other non-recurring revenue, came in at 98.7 million euros, posting a plus 21.5% versus prior year, or 2.7% on a 2020 base. EBITDA reported came in at 93 million. EBITDA adjusted margin was 26.3%. EBITDA reported margin was 24.8%. EBIT came in at 56.9 million, growing 8.1% versus prior year. EBIT margin was 15%. Net profit came in at 44.9 million. If we were to include the purchase price allocation, net profit was equal to 39 plus 6 million, or growing 4.9% versus prior year. Net financial position reflects entirely the recent acquisition and stands at 263.3 million. That is 193.3 million if we consider Fiscal's investment, which was completed on February 3rd, 2022. Leverage ratio is at 2.67 times on a reported basis, 1.96 times pro forma for Fiscal. In 2021, most of the business lines continued to grow. In fact, Digital Trust grew a healthy 13.3%, growing 11% on a 2020 basis, and EBITDA increased 17%, with EBITDA margin posting short of 28%. Cybersecurity revenues reached 73 billion, roughly, and EBITDA margin was close to 14%. Credit information management increased 2.2% in revenues, with a slight decrease in EBITDA of 3.7%. EBITDA margins were healthy at close to 29%. Innovation and marketing services posted a plus 24% in revenue growth, 11.3% on a 2020 base, with EBITDA rising 14%. EBITDA margin of innovation and marketing services was over 43%. In terms of the recent news, Tinexta, as you all know, presented its 2022-2024 business plan presentation during its Capital Markets Day on February the 28th. You all have seen the provided 2022 guidance and 2024 business outlook. As of today, there was also a proposal of a dividend equal to 0.30 cents per share, which will be presented to the General Assembly at the end of April. Turn to page 4. On page 4, we highlight most of the KPIs. As you can see, the growth has been already mentioned, and we are providing healthy double-digit growth both at a revenue level as well as an EBITDA adjusted level and net profit. Probably most importantly is the results on page 5. We're highlighting Q4 results, which were superb in our opinion, with revenues growing close to 42% and EBITDA adjusted growing even more at 46% growth versus prior year, showing the strong operating leverage of the entire company. Net profit grew 36%. As all the numbers have been mostly commented, let's turn to page 6. On page 6, we provide you an EBITDA walkthrough, which is comparing H1 results and H2 results in order to provide you a bit of more color from the growth in terms of EBITDA. We expected back-ended year EBITDA growth, and we over-delivered on all accounts. In fact, 2H21 actual results were expected to be around 54 million in terms of EBITDA, and they came in at 56.4 million. EBITDA, in fact, adjusted on a 2021 basis was 98.7 million. The main takeaway of this slide is that quarter-on-quarter performance is not representative of the group's yearly performance. Going to page 7, we give you a reported to adjusted KPI walkthrough, and we are now providing the EBITDA adjusted versus the EBITDA adjusted of last year, as well as the EBIT and the net income. As you will all appreciate, the only items that represent, or the major items that represent the walkthrough from reported to adjusted are non-recurring service costs, as well as stock option costs. In terms of operating profit and net profit, we also are including the amortization of other intangible assets from business combinations. Turning to page 8, I will leave it to Oddone to give us a deep dive on the 2021 financial results. Oddone.
Good afternoon, everybody. And after the introduction done by Joseph, we'll go through the P&L of the full year. As you see also, you may see the comparison on a same perimeter basis 2020. The results as shared, achieved 375 million, with a significant growth over previous year, partially driven by the organic growth, but still having a high single-digit growth on the same perimeter basis. In terms of marginality, and if you look at the EBITDA margin, we should remember that during 21 we incorporated, following the acquisition of the cybersecurity company that currently has a lower margin than the average of the group. So the 26.3 that we achieved is basically aligned with our expectations, although is lower than 2020 results. If we move down from the EBITDA, starting from this year, we incorporated the amortization for more than 7 million of the PPA that we ran over the acquisition, the cybersecurity, as well as Querio. And if we go down, we are up to net financial charges of 3 million. That is basically what we expected. The net profit is 39.6 compared to the 37.8, but we have to remember, as previously showed by Joseph, that on an adjusted basis, the net income moved up from slightly above 40 million to more than 49 million. It means on an adjusted basis, we get a very, very strong net profit increase. The Q4, we perfectly remember that, during the year, a lot of questions was posed on our capability to deliver the second half and the Q4. As Joseph mentioned, we should look at our performance. It's very difficult to compare on a quarter-by-quarter basis, as basically our business is not a consumer business, that usually the consumer business has more or less the similar trends. Our business is and it's a B2B business, and you may clearly understand that if you have a big project in one quarter, 1 year, and you have probably in the following quarter, the following year, result may change. Having said that, Q4 has been fully aligned to our expectation. We were able to deliver a very, very strong Q4 with a significant growth over previous year and with an important contribution to the results. At the end of the day, you may see that the net profit of the quarter has been 50 million compared to the 11 million the previous year. It means a growth in the range of 35%. So, as we already shared, I want to anticipate that the figures we are presenting now are perfectly aligned to the figure that we already shared with the market during our conference call on the 28th of February. I go back here to the invested capital. Obviously, the level of acquisition that the group delivered as indicated during the presentation of the plan is mainly driven by the several acquisitions that the group delivered during 2021. So the invested capital went up slightly above 500 million, starting from 265 million, and this is, I have to say that this is entirely related to the acquisition we performed. Still, during 2021, the group was able to basically improve the working capital management despite of the significant growth of the revenue from this. The net financial position landed on a pro forma basis if we include if you exclude the acquisitions at Europe, or we include the share capital increase from Bregal, we just landed around slightly below 2 times the EBITDA, and this is what we planned since the early beginning of the year. Then the 3rd of February we had the share capital increase of Bregal, so on a pro forma basis we landed at 193. Shareholders' equity increased despite the distribution of dividends of during 2021 our results 20, and also considering the buyback program, but the profits came up to almost 40 million, and we have to include also the contribution from Intesa Sanpaolo in Nolva for the acquisition of Forvalue. So our shareholder equity now is slightly below 250 million euros. Acquisition during the year were material. We had the acquisition of Corvallis, of Yoroi, and Corvallis and Yoroi to build up together this Swascan, the cybersecurity program, and also the Querio acquisition that occurred during Q1 21. In November, we completed the acquisition of CertEurope, already in 2021 delivered more than 1 million euro EBITDA in just 2 months. If we move to the free cash flow, the free cash flow is still strong. We need to point it out that in 21 we had a payout of taxes for 25 million, driven by the growth in the profits from 2020, and still, as I already remembered, and still we were able to generate cash from the working capital in 21. You may see here, the flow from one period to another at page 30. If we now I will go in deep diving into the business units. I will move directly to page 16. Digital Trust had definitely a very, very strong year. So the company on a pro forma basis, on a same perimeter basis, was able to grow 11% with the EBITDA growing more than 30%. This is an excellent performance, but on top of the financial performance, we have to remind that InfoCert were more and more able to become a very strong partner to large corporations and large banks in helping them through the digital transformation management. So very frequently, InfoCert is appointed as a main contractor from this large corporation and is helping entering into an intimate level with the clients in developing this business. And this is exactly what InfoCert is looking to do with the new acquisition of Cert Europe in France. EBITDA landed at almost 28% with a strong growth and including also a continuous investment in order to refresh the products, to develop new products, to develop new solutions. Cybersecurity. Well, we are happy about the performance of the cybersecurity. This wasn't something basically when we completed the acquisition was not granted because the task from the management standpoint was really tough. Basically, we acquired 3 different companies, 3 different cultures, and our goal was to try to put them together and to be able to have an integrated go-to-market, an integrated organization, and an integrated offer to the customer. This has progressed accordingly to our expectation, and I would say even more important, we were able to exactly deliver the profitability we committed at the beginning of the year. The EBITDA margin landed not far from 14%. This is slightly above our expectation. This is a good indicator. Definitely, here we have, the first challenge has been achieved and overcome because this was the first step, but definitely going forward is where the challenge is more important. Credit information and management, definitely this is the only area that basically delivered slightly below previous year, but I think we should look at this from a different perspective. Here, we are showing figures from 19 to 21, but during the plan presentation we show figures also from 18 to 21. Well, if you look in a row, the 3 or the 4 years, we may say that despite the revenue is more or less flat, and this is something according to the market of the credit information, I have to say that profitability of credit information business unit improved quite significantly. We move up from below 24% in 18 to 24% in 19, and we landed at the end of 21 at 29%. Obviously, being able basically to confirm the exceptional performance of 2020 has been a great achievement. The company is delivering close to 30%, and the business unit is delivering close to 30% EBITDA margin. That is an outstanding performance. Innovation and marketing services. So last week, within the credit information, I would add that Revaluta had a very good year, improved its position, improved its profitability, and this is, another factor that allows us to achieve the results that we are showing here. For value, obviously, is just started, as already shared with the market. Basically, for value, for us, is long-term investment that we performed. The first 6 months was basically a warm-up, try to set organization and to set the operating model together with the bank being for value in the middle and the process between the bank and our companies that are delivering services and products. Innovation and marketing services. had a quite tough year, but was able to continue to improve the performance in terms of revenue, EBITDA. In this business unit, basically we have three components. The component of Warrant that is delivering mostly of the profitability. Warrant in a tough year, driven by the mix of the budget law, was able to deliver very positive results. Slightly above the previous year. Comarch was able to rebound from the 2020 that was penalized by the COVID, and we are glad to share that Querio is performing accordingly to an ambitious plan when we put together when we acquired the company. The integration between Comarch and Querio is performing well, and I have to say that Warrant is continuously improving its revenue mix, being less and less dependent from the Finanza Agevolata Automatica, and Warrant is bringing on the market new business line, new products, facing all the opportunity coming from sustainability, green, ESG, and whatever. So the bunch of offer of Warrant is improving, and this allows us to look at the future in a very promising way.
Okay, so thanks, Oddone. We're going to quickly turn to page 21, where we are presenting our already known key financial targets for 22 and 24. In order for you guys to appreciate the numbers on a 2022 base in a constant perimeter, that means with organic growth, we expect revenues to be in the range of 10 to 12% growth versus prior year. The equivalent EBITDA adjusted is going to be anywhere between 8 to 10% versus prior year. Considering the acquisitions, we expect to grow strong, double digits, anywhere between 18 and 20% on a revenue base, and 20 to 22% on an EBITDA adjusted base, with net financial debt over EBITDA adjusted landing at around 2 times by the end of fiscal year 2022. On a 2024 base, giving you an outlook all the way to the end of the plan horizon, with acquisition, we expect to grow CAGR 22-24, low double digits in revenue and mid double digits in EBITDA adjusted. The NSP over EBITDA adjusted is expected at the end of 24 to be sub 1, anywhere between 0.7 times and 0.8 times. More importantly, it's important to say that on slide 22, I think it's important to provide you some bridging between the net financial position expected to the guidance, right? So we are looking at, we provide you a bit of a waterfall scenario here to see how to bridge anywhere between the 263 million at the end of 21 all the way to the expected numbers that we just said in the guidance. So I think it's fair to say, and Oddone already had mentioned this during the preliminary results on February of the 28th, that basically the free cash flow in 2022 is expected to be around 60 million. Bregal's investment has already been cashed in at around during the 3rd of February for 70 million. Then let's all remind the market that the overall commitment of Bregal is 100 million. So the first tranche has already been cashed in February of 22. We have to consider the entire e-value and put adjustments both for digital trust and cybersecurity of around 40 million. Dividends and minorities, so to third parties, are expected to be in the range of 20 million. We are putting expected numbers, okay? So these are averages between buyback and other. We're considering 10 to 20 million each. So the landing net financial debt over 2022 adjusted EBITDA is, as we said, 2 times. Then bridging all the way to 2024, we expect an additional 160 million euros of free cash flow generation breakout investment to be completed within 12 months of February 2022 for the remaining 30 million, and then dividends and others to be in the range of 35 million each, which lands us exactly on average to sub 1 or 0.7 times or 0.8 times the NFP over 2024 adjusted EBITDA. We wanted to give you a bit of color because I think it's important so that the market knows exactly how our free cash flow is given our predictability of the free cash flow. So putting all the numbers together, you're looking at least greater than 220 million of free cash flow between 22 and 24, and the Bregal investment, which is going to be, as we said, 100 million spread out between 22 and 24 and 23. At this point, I will leave it to Q&A. So if you can, we have questions.
Certainly, sir. Thank you. Excuse me, this is the Chorus Call conference operator. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touch-tone telephone. To remove your question, please press star and 2. Please pick up the receiver when asking questions. We will pause for a moment while participants join the queue. The first question is from Renato Gargiulo of Stifel. Please go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. Well, my first question is a general one. In your outlook, in your press release, you stated that clearly it's not possible yet to assess the potential impact of the ongoing Ukraine crisis. But I just wanted to ask you if up to date, are you seeing any impact or any of your businesses is somehow affected by this new macro scenario? And on the positive side, if you are experiencing already an acceleration, strong acceleration in demand for cybersecurity services, given the higher, let's say, cyber risks after the Ukraine crisis. Then second question is, yesterday you announced another acquisition in Italy, Enhancers, which seemed pretty interesting from a business standpoint. Just if you can provide us any more color about the rationale and potential synergies from the integration. Then last one, still quite general about you have recently clearly provided your business plan targets. In terms of divisions, which business in your view may have the highest upside potential? Also maybe considering the impact of the recovery plan in the medium term. Thank you.
As of today, honestly, I have to say that we have no direct business with Russia and Ukraine. We check out with all our companies, and this is not the case. I have to say that so no direct business there. Potentially, our clients as business with Russia and Ukraine. You may think of some banks where we sell services and so on. But as of today, we have no impact, that has been reported to the headquarters from the different companies as of today. I would say that also, if you look at the pandemic, we have no impact, although, the month of January was, quite, from that standpoint, with 500,000 cases per day in Italy, there has been just a little slowdown in real estate estimates requirement, because basically banks has a lot of people that were not working because they were in COVID, and visiting new houses was something that was not so easy. But overall, nothing real material is going to impact us, driven by these two strains. As regards of cybersecurity, there is a trend. We are confident to overperform the trend that is there in the full year, and an acceleration still. I would say that companies are not reacting just to this. Probably we need to perform extra controls, but when generally you enter in agreement with the company and you have managed security services during the period, but we are not seeing an acceleration driven by this. Definitely, we expect the clients are more careful and they are trying to understand if there is a risk there. The third question was on
enhancers.
The last acquisition was the last one. Maybe I can complete. The last one was...
Renato, you were asking which of the businesses expected to grow most. Was that your question?
Yeah, the upside potential related to your business plan targets, medium term.
As of today, on a same perimeter basis, we have already a quite ambitious plan. We are talking about double-digit growth, basically revenue and EBITDA, with the EBITDA running a little bit faster. So everybody has a quite tough planning front. We have to say that looking at the trends over the last quarters and the expectation we have, definitely digital trust is the most promising business among a portfolio that in any case is growing overall 10%. But I would say that driven by the last performance and the expected performance, definitely InfoCert and digital trust is the business that is expected to deliver better. We have to remind that also we do expect a material growth in terms of profitability from the cybersecurity. The plan that we have shared is projecting a growth of 30% on a average growth rate. So it means that we have a very challenging plan in front of us. We will see. Definitely, we have a look at it over the period, over the full year.
And to answer your last question on the recent acquisition, so just so everybody's on board, we're talking about Innovation and Marketing Services Division. In particular, it's Warrant here that purchased 100% of Enhancers. So this falls into the typical acquisition that the group has carried out. We always said that we will carry out some bolt-on acquisitions, and in particular here, the acquisition is the purchase of this company called Enhancers, which is based in Turin and Bologna, and their main product line is that of offering task-oriented digital systems. So the idea here, the takeaway is these are digital product suites in particular that can improve the consultancy services that we provide to small, medium enterprises. Now, alongside what has already been announced on the press release that you all have seen, we're talking about, just to give you some flavor, of an EBITDA in the range of a bit shy of 2 million on a given year. So that's obviously these are the typical acquisitions that the company carries out, and they are considered bolt-on to complete the offer.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The next question is from Isacco Brambilla of Mediobanca. Please go ahead, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Just one question from my side. Since we are now in mid-March, is there any color you want to share on current trading, on how 2022 has started, maybe with some qualitative comment by division? Thanks.
Okay. Well, basically the year just started. We have, we confirmed, our board confirmed the guidance for the full year. This, as already said, is a very challenging guidance and targets. We as answer to, basically we can only confirm what we shared. We expect digital trust to be the driver in terms of percentage of growth and size our growth, and obviously we do expect a material improvement and growth from the cybersecurity. Lower growth we expect in terms of profitability from Warrant and Comarch and Querio, but still, overall an important growth from that division. No, as of today, I have no specific news. We committed the plan on the full year, and as also previous year, I will not focus on single months and quarter or whatever. You have seen that we since the early 21 we shared with the market our target for 21, and we delivered them almost during Q4, but we were confident, we knew what we were managing, and this is what. As of today, I have no other significant news to share. If we would have shared, obviously.
As a reminder, if you wish to register for a question, please press star and 1 on your touch-tone telephone. Once again, if you wish to register for a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone. The next question is a follow-up from Renato Gargiulo of Stifel. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you. Just very quick follow-up. Regarding your, during the business plan, you talked about a reorganization, simplification of the corporate structure, etc. Just was wondering if can we expect any material restructuring costs, one-offs on this side? Thank you.
No. When we are talking about simplification, we are talking about especially in the area of innovation marketing services, where you may see, many legal entities. I think there we are going to simplify, means going through some merge between the companies in order to integrate them in the major company that is Warrant there. No restructuring cost about that, absolutely. This group has, the merger that we are going to perform during 2022, they are focused to streamline the operation and to make, all the life easier around that, and avoiding some duplication of cost. We are talking about a group that is continuing to grow on an organic basis. So we never have a redundancy of people there, because we are always, I would say, most of the time we are short of people, because if the business is growing, you need people to support it. So when we are talking about simplification, it's a matter of not overcomplicate our activity, but we have no redundancy, so we are not expecting restructuring costs.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Mastragostino, there are no questions registered at this time, sir.
We would like to thank you again for connecting to the Tinexta's conference call, and if you have any additional information, please don't hesitate to contact us. Take care.